Okay, so there's this new superbike coming out of China. And honestly, the claims it's making are just unbelievable. We're talking 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds, a top speed of 299. Now, you'd expect that from a huge established brand, right? But this is from a company pretty much nobody has ever heard of. So what's the deal here? Let's get into it.
And the founder, a guy named Zhang Xu, is not being subtle about it at all. He came right out and said, "I have no rivals under 1 liter." I mean, that is a seriously bold statement. He's basically throwing down the gauntlet to every major motorcycle company on the planet.
So, this is the big question we're really digging into. You have this brand new bike from a totally new company, and it's claiming to be the best in the world for a fraction of the price. It sounds way too good to be true, doesn't it? So, is it for real? To figure that out, we've got to start with the numbers that got everyone talking in the first place.
First up, power. The top-of-the-line RS model is claiming a massive 153.6 horsepower. Now, for an 820cc engine, that is absolutely at the top of its class, putting it way ahead of the bikes it's supposed to compete with.
And then you have the weight. Just 173 kilograms, which is about 381 pounds. And how do they get it so light? Well, it's decked out with a full carbon fiber body and all these premium lightweight parts. This gives it a power-to-weight ratio that's playing in the big leagues, even beating some full-liter superbikes. And here is the real kicker, the price. Around $14,300. So you're getting absolutely top-tier performance for basically half of what you'd pay for its European rivals. On paper, it's a total game changer. But okay, numbers on a page are one thing. Credibility, that's a whole other story. To really know if this bike is the real deal, we have to look past the spec sheet and into the mind of the man who created it. And this is where the story gets really compelling. You see, you can't separate the story of the ZXMoto 820RR from the story of its founder, Zhang Xu. His background is the key to this entire bike's philosophy. And just look at his resume. It shows you this guy has lived and breathed motorcycles his whole life. At just 17, he started his own repair shop. A few years later, he's a motocross and stunt rider. Then he co-founds Moto, a brand that earned some serious street cred by taking on the brutal Dakar rally. So his new company, ZXMoto, is all built around one idea: extreme passion. You get the picture. This isn't some faceless corporation. It's one guy's absolute passion project.
So, you've got this guy, Zhang Xu, who clearly knows his stuff, and a bike with these mind-blowing specs. But what kind of fight is he picking? He's not just entering an empty market. He's stepping into a war zone dominated by giants.
He's going right after the next-gen supersport category. Think of it this way. These are bikes that are total monsters on the track, but you can actually live with them on the street without needing a chiropractor. They're fast, but they're also designed to be relatively comfortable and affordable.
And in this category, let's be clear, there is a king. And that king is the Ducati Panigale V2. It is the icon, the benchmark everyone else is chasing. So ZXMoto isn't just trying to play in the same sandbox, they're walking right up to the biggest kid on the playground and saying, "We're here to take your crown."
And when you put the numbers head-to-head, I mean, it is just stunning. Look at this. The ZXMoto has over 30 more horsepower, it's 17 kilos lighter, and it costs a whole lot less. On paper, it's not even a contest. It's a total knockout.
But hey, as any rider will tell you, a great spec sheet doesn't win races, right? Being a killer on paper is meaningless if he can't back it up in the real world. And ZXMoto knew they had to prove it where it counts.
So what did they do? They didn't just send out a press release or post some impressive numbers online. Nope. They put together a full factory racing team and took it to the one place where you absolutely cannot hide.
That's right, they entered the FIM Supersport World Championship. This is the big time. This is where you go head-to-head with the factory teams from Ducati, Yamaha, Kawasaki, all the heavy hitters. Talk about a high-stakes gamble for a brand new company. So it all comes down to this, doesn't it? Could this little upstart team with a brand new bike from a brand new company actually compete? Forget competing. Could they possibly win? So this was it. All the talk, all the passion, all the crazy numbers on paper, it was all going to be settled, for better or for worse, on the racetrack.
Okay, so the scene is set. We're at the Portimão circuit in Portugal. The date is March 29, 2026. And remember, this is only ZXMoto's second race weekend out on the world stage. Honestly, just finishing the race would have been seen as a huge success.
But then, this happened. The race ends and the official results come in. In first place, Valentin de Bees, riding for the ZXMoto factory team on the 820RR. And who was in second place? Jabe Masia on a Ducati Panigale V2. They didn't just compete, they won. They actually truly won.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A brand new bike, in only its second race weekend, defeated the very machine it was designed to kill on the biggest stage there is. That sort of thing just doesn't happen in modern racing.
So look, this was way more than just one trophy. This result sent a massive shockwave through the entire motorcycle industry and is forcing everybody to ask some very serious questions.
With that one win, ZXMoto basically proved that every single one of their audacious claims was legit. That superbike killer on paper? Yeah, turns out it's a champion on the pavement. The hype was absolutely real.
And that leaves all of us with the biggest question of all. Was this just a fluke? A perfect storm, lightning in a bottle? Or are we watching the start of something huge? A real shift in power, where a new player from China can come in and not just compete with the legends, but actually beat them at their own game? I guess only time will tell.